Okay, resources. So let's touch on resources. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to my resource dictionary. Okay. And I'm going to just use a portion of this dictionary. So we have clients who wanted their resources integrated to their system, their Workday system. So the Workday system has information about roles and how many people are fulfilling the role. So we have integrations that take that information and auto-create their max units per time. Now, some of their roles in P6 might marry up to one role in Workday. Okay, so they're not always one-to-one. So what we needed to do was we needed to use a tag, which is a resource code in this example, that would allow us to marry those systems up. Okay, now to manage a code that comes off the resource dictionary, that could be very, very time consuming. For every change I make, that could be really time consuming. So we automated that. So if I add a resource, so let me go ahead and add a resource in here. And I'm going to just call it P6C new, just so you can see it very clearly, hopefully. And I'll call it P6C, no space, new here. Okay. So this is the first part of the feature, is to be able to automatically see the dictionary and then have a code get updated automatically. Okay. So this is a big one, because to manage this would maintain this would take a lot of work. Okay. Now with P6 Loader, you could pull it out and create the code very quickly, but there's not really another nice, elegant way. Okay. So that's one thing. Okay. So I think it's coming along. So let's just see if it's done. Sorry, I have to keep using two windows here. Okay. So here it is. So it created the code automatically. And it's, in this case, it's only taking a portion of this tree. Okay, it could take the whole tree or a portion. So then I can assign it very easily. Okay, so that's a huge, huge win. Again, saving lots and lots of time, keeping your strategy on resources very consistent. Now, this was used for coding and grabbing data and marrying it up. Okay, now, it could also be used down on the resource dictionary. Okay, so this particular field can be grabbed from the resource dictionary and put inside of here. So you can see here that code that it's there. It's P6-Calculator. I'm blind. This one, calculated resource. So that one is right there. So I can see it. It's going to come along with the resource as I assign it. Okay, so this one. Okay, so that's going to be available now. And this one could be copied onto activities. So there's all sorts of great things that you can do once you get the code working for you. So let me try and explain another aspect that you can use. So let's just look here at what I've got. So I have an example where I've got multiple resources. That's what you're seeing here, assigned to an activity. And you can see here I have the same sort of three that I'm using. I've got the drafting engineer, the lead engineer, the senior engineer. That's sort of my example. Now, some of you may use team member. Okay. Now, team member allows the primary resource. That's what this field, flagging field, is here. And if you've used P6 for years, you may not really know what the use of that thing is. It's primarily used for team member, and it lets the primary resource, in this case, the drafting engineer, start and finish the activity. So the senior engineer can charge time to the activity, but they cannot start and finish the activity, okay? Now, lots of our clients don't use team member necessarily. They use other things, our CAPS system, our TAPS, they have timesheets integrated through Workday, etc. So the primary resource can be really handy for grouping your layout. Okay, so that's what I'm showing you here. This is grouped by the primary resource. You also might use that for reporting. Okay, so we've got clients who use this through P6 Reporter out to their reporting dashboard like a Power BI, a Tableau, and they use that to filter so that this, and so we know who is the lead, who is the main resource. So now, when you create a new activity and you assign resources, okay, so I'm going to assign those resources here. Okay, I'm going to assign these. Okay, so I just assigned all those four. Well, it has this primary flagged, and it flags it as the first labor resource that you assign. And you may not like that. And you may not want to have to go through every one of these and reassign the primary. So this little utility that we have is assigning the primary based on our priority. Okay, now I'm trying to show you the priority with the numbering here. So what I'm trying to say here is if the engineering drafting is on there, it's priority 1. If the engineering senior, is on there, it's priority 2. If the engineering lead is on there, it's priority 3. Okay, so I just assigned these, and I want it to work its magic, and I want it to rearrange the primary flag automatically for me based on the priority. So you can see I've got the engineering drafting as the priority, so it resets it. Now, because it did that, you see it's automatically fixing my layout. And that, again, is a huge win because it's controlling it and it's going to help me with all sorts of reporting. So that's the utility, the extra part of the utility that we built to make this automatic with a priority. Okay. Now, in our case, the priority is controlled in the utility, but you could control it in a code or a UDF on the resource as well. Okay. Okay. So really big thing here, being able to have this automatically changing those so that all your reporting, your linking to your dashboards is all going to work without a lot of manual work from your schedulers. Now, if I remove that engineering drafting, okay, so oops, I didn't mean to assign them onto this activity and I want to remove it, okay, and I save it, what do you think it's going to do? Well, it should go to the second priority, which would be the senior engineer in this example. Okay, so I just save that change so the computer knows I did it and I let it continue to run and work its magic. So this is automatically happening. Okay, it's monitoring my changes and it's going to make the edit for me. Okay, so I'll just give it a second here and let it do its thing. And it'll reset it and it'll reorder where the activity is automatically. Okay. And okay, it's just going to take a second, no problem. This is quite an intricate utility. It's looking for lots of things. to do this work? Okay, no problem. So
That one may take
any
a couple
questions so
minutes,
far?
Nicole.
Okay, there it goes. It did it. Okay, there you go. So it reassigned it and it moved it automatically. Okay. So again, I'm doing this on one activity. So you might say, oh, that's no big deal. But if you work on a turnaround, if you work on big projects, if you work on operations where you've got lots of activities coming in, you know that this 1 minute that you spend on each adds up quickly. Okay. So that's really the benefit when we're working with lots of activities, and it's easy to forget to tag these. So we didn't build these for our fun. We had clients that really benefited from these because they could do a lot more work with less people and less mistakes. It's really making the mistakes so the reporting isn't consistent. That's really what we're trying to avoid. Okay, and why make a scheduler have to do a little mundane flag like this when you can automate it? Okay, so that's what I'm trying to show you here. And these are just a few of the examples that we've worked through.